Good morning, children. Hope you people are doing well. Let us continue with the story The Brave Potter. A few years later, war broke out between the Potter's country and a much stronger neighbor. The king immediately gathered a large army, but he realized that it was not strong enough to save his country from defeat. He needed a hero to lead his army. Where could he find such a brave man? The king hurriedly called his ministers together and asked their advice. One of the ministers remembered the story of the brave potter. Your Majesty, the minister said, I know someone who can lead our army. The king immediately sent a messenger to the potter's house. When the potter realized that he had been made general of the army, he became frightened. The king had ordered him to go to the palace the next day. How could he, a poor ignorant potter, become the general of the army? He had never carried a sword, nor had he ever ridden a horse. Oh, I shall die because of that stupid donkey, groaned the potter to his wife. He has only brought us trouble. The next day he went with his wife to the capital. The king was pleased to see him and ordered the potter to lead the army into the battle the next day. The enemy were not far from the gates of the city. A splendid house had been prepared for the potter and his wife. The horse which would carry him into the battle was ready in the stable. That night the potter could not sleep. He was nervous and worried because he did not know how to ride a horse. If I fall off, everybody will laugh at me, he thought. I will get up very early tomorrow and practice riding the horse. At dawn, the potter woke up his wife and they went to the stable. They saw the beautiful brown horse ready for its new master. Oh, how tall he is, sighed the potter. I shall never be able to climb onto its back. Put this bench beside him, said his wife, and use it as a step. Even with the help of the bench, the potter had much difficulty climbing onto the horse's back. When he finally seated, he found that the saddle was very slippery. Please tie my feet to the stirrups, dear wife, said the potter, otherwise I shall certainly fall off. His wife found some rope and bound her husband's feet tightly to the stirrups. She then passed the rope underneath the houses and tied to the two stirrups together. So she also passed a length of rope around the potter's waist and tied him to the saddle. Meanwhile, the big brown horse had impatiently pawing his hoofs on the ground. When the potter's wife tried to pass another rope around its neck, the horse suddenly jumped free. It galloped out of the stable with the potter hanging like a sack on its back. Only ropes kept him from crashing to the ground. The potter held tightly on the horse's back and prayed to all gods to save his life. After galloping through quiet streets, the horse crashed through the city gates and raced across the open fields. It leapt over fences and streams and began to head for the enemy's camp. When the potter realized where they were going, he tried harder than ever to stop the horse. He pulled wildly on the reins, but it was no use. The horse galloped on. When they passed a young tree, the potter grabbed a branch, but the horse did not stop. Instead, the tree was pulled out of the ground. A sentry from the enemy camp saw the potter galloping towards the camp with the tree in one hand and its reins in the other. That must be the general who captured a tiger with bare hands, he thought. Now he has uprooted a tree with only one hand. He is not an ordinary man. He is a giant. Run, run, save yourselves. The famous tiger general is coming at the head of a large army to attack us. He has the strength of a giant. he has uprooted a tree with one hand. The frightened soldiers fled. The king was left by himself in his tent. Hurriedly he wrote a letter begging for peace and apologizing for attacking the country. He left his letter in the tent. Then he jumped on his horse and followed his soldiers. When the potter's brown horse reached the deserted camp, it stopped. With shaking hands, the potter untied his feet and fell to the ground. Then he looked around. He was surprised to find the camp empty. He looked in the king's tent and found the letter. The puzzled potter walked back to the city with the letter in his pocket. He went to his wife and gave her the letter. "Dear wife," he said, "never in my life will I ride a horse again. Please take this letter to our king and tell him that enemy has run away. I am going to bed." His wife ran towards the palace with the letter. When the king read the letter, he was full of his praise for his new general. He asked the potter's wife where her husband was. She replied that he is taking rest as he is very tired. "Let him rest today. Tell him to come tomorrow to receive his award," the king said. Next morning, the potter went to the king's palace. He left the brown horse in the stable and walked to the palace with his wife. The streets were filled with cheering crowds. They had all heard about his brave action. "Look how humble he is," they said to each other. "Any other man would ride to the palace on a horse, but he is walking like an ordinary man. He is truly a humble and brave man." The king rewarded the potter so well that he did not need to work again. The country was peaceful for the rest of his life, and the potter never rode a horse again. So children, I hope you people have understood the story. Now take down the assignment. Why did the king make the potter general of the army? Do you think that the potter is really brave or lucky? Give your reason. Till then, stay home, stay safe. Thank you.